The hottest summer in UK history hasn't just scorched land and cities, it has boiled the seas. This year's marine heatwave has turned the waters around Britain into an ecological pressure cooker, rewriting the rules of survival for countless marine species. Satellites show swathes of red blotches spreading across the North Atlantic like open wounds. Surface buoys in the North Sea recorded spikes up to 5 degrees above average, and divers off Cornwall describe the water as unrecognizable, hot, cloudy, and thick with unfamiliar life. In the ocean, a single degree of temperature rise can shift entire ecosystems. But 2025 brought far more than that. It has tipped the balance of the UK's waters, triggering collapses, explosions, and invasions all at once. Warm water intruders are marching north with unstoppable momentum. Sardines, anchovies, and mackerel, species once considered marginal visitors, are now arriving in dense swarms, transforming fishing hauls overnight. Nets off Cornwall are brimming with anchovies that just a decade ago would have been unimaginable in those numbers. Lobsters, usually sensitive to temperature swings, are also showing an uptick in catch rates in the southwest, benefiting from conditions that suffocate others. For fishermen in these regions, the heat wave has felt like a windfall. But every boom comes with a bust, and the losers are just as clear. Cod, once the backbone of British diets and maritime culture, are vanishing from overheated shallows where their young once thrived. Juvenile cod cannot survive in water robbed of oxygen, and this year's heat wave has expanded hypoxic zones across the North Sea like invisible deserts. Haddock and whiting show signs of stunted growth, their bodies struggling to build protein in a low-oxygen environment. These are not gradual generational declines, they are sudden breaks in a system that has held for centuries. Scientists monitoring cod nurseries near the Humber estuary found mortality rates at record highs, raising alarms that recovery may no longer be possible if the trend continues. Beneath the surface, even more sinister processes are unfolding. The heat has intensified stratification, the layering of warm water sitting heavily on cooler, nutrient-rich depths. This barrier blocks the natural upwelling that normally fuels plankton blooms, starving the very foundation of the food chain. The microscopic shift from diatoms, nutrient-rich plankton that nourish fish larvae, to coccolithophores, which thrive in nutrient-poor conditions, might seem invisible, but it cascades upward like a chain reaction. Fish born weaker, seabird colonies struggling to feed chicks, marine mammals losing energy-rich prey. Every link in the chain feels the strain. On the Farne Islands, puffin burrows that once echoed with chicks are eerily silent. Whole colonies have failed to breed this season, a silent testimony to the unseen shifts below. Kelp forests, the underwater rainforests of the UK's coasts, are collapsing under the assault. These vast, swaying ecosystems provide shelter to hundreds of species, buffer coastlines from erosion, and act as carbon sinks. But divers in Sussex and Cornwall report kelp beds ripped apart, weakened by heat stress and storm surges. Once golden forests are being replaced by barren, rocky deserts. In their absence, jellyfish are thriving. Compass and barrel jellyfish now bloom in choking swarms, clogging fishermen's nets, disrupting tourism, and outcompeting fish for zooplankton. For coastal communities, these gelatinous explosions symbolize a future where the seas feel alien, unstable, and hostile. And then come the newcomers, species not meant to be here but arriving all the same. Triggerfish, usually Mediterranean dwellers, are appearing in shoals. Octopuses are turning up in Devon waters, and there are even scattered sightings of parrotfish along southern reefs. This process, called tropicalization, is no longer theoretical. It is here, reshaping Britain's seas before policymakers or economies can react. To divers, the flashes of exotic colors may seem thrilling, but to ecologists, it is a warning. Ecosystems finely tuned for cold, northern species are being rewritten into something Mediterranean, and the pace is quickening. The economic stakes are staggering. Southern fleets are celebrating sardine and anchovy windfalls, but northern fishing towns built on cod face collapse. Aquaculture is under siege too. Mussels and oysters in shallow farms are dying en masse from heat stress, their shells thinning due to the combined assault of warming and acidification. Acidification is the ocean's second punch. Warmer seas absorb more carbon dioxide, lowering pH and dissolving the very calcium carbonate that shellfish need. Farmers in Wales and Scotland report that oysters are growing fragile shells that crumble under handling. What's being lost isn't just food, it's livelihoods, cultural staples, and centuries-old maritime traditions. Tourism, once buoyed by seabird spectacles and lush kelp forests, is faltering. Visitors hoping to see puffins or explore kelp-draped reefs now find emptiness. Beaches once prized for swimming are plagued with jellyfish warnings. Even shark patterns are shifting. Blue sharks, threshers, and even the occasional hammerhead are pushing closer to UK shores, tracking the warm currents. For some, this is thrilling, for others alarming, but either way it is a sign of profound disruption. The changes are not limited to surface ecosystems. Deep ocean processes are under stress too. The North Atlantic is a critical engine of global thermohaline circulation, the great conveyor belt that regulates the planet's climate by moving heat and salt across the oceans. Marine heat waves threaten to destabilize this circulation, especially if they weaken the dense, salty waters that normally sink near Greenland to drive the current. If the conveyor falters, the consequences ripple worldwide, from intensifying hurricanes in the Caribbean to disrupting Asian monsoons and even chilling northern Europe in paradoxical feedback loops. The UK's boiling seas are not just a local crisis. They are entangled with the climate system of the entire Earth. Even the seabed is not safe. Benthic species, clams, starfish, sea cucumbers, are experiencing mass die-offs as bottom waters heat and oxygen vanishes. These creatures quietly recycle nutrients and keep ecosystems balanced, but their decline is rarely noticed until the effects compound: algal mats spreading uncontrolled, sediments releasing carbon, food chains collapsing from the bottom up. Some marine biologists warn that the ocean floor may become the silent graveyard of the heat wave, a slow-motion disaster hidden from public view. And yet, amid collapse, there are glimmers of resilience. Some kelp species show resistance, clinging to cooler northern waters. A few seabird colonies further north, beyond the harshest heat, have managed to breed successfully. Conservationists argue that rapid expansion of marine protected areas could provide refuges where ecosystems regroup. Others advocate for bold interventions: artificial reefs to anchor kelp regrowth, stricter fishing quotas to give cod and haddock any chance of survival, even experimental shading techniques to reduce heat stress in aquaculture beds. None of these are silver bullets, but they may be lifelines in a world where the seas are rewriting themselves faster than human systems can adapt. The truth is sobering. The seas around Britain are not just warming, they are transforming. Sardines and anchovies are winning, jellyfish are taking over, cod and puffins are vanishing, and tropical fish are moving in. What was once a northern ecosystem is mutating into something unrecognizable, shaped by forces far beyond human control. For centuries, the UK's waters have defined its culture, economy, and identity. Now those waters are becoming something else entirely, and the future menu, the future coastlines, and the future livelihoods of millions are being redrawn in real time. This story is far from over, but the warning is clear. What's happening beneath the waves is not abstract, not distant, and not reversible at the flick of a switch. It is happening now, reshaping ecosystems, threatening industries, and entangling local fates with global climate shifts. If you want to keep pace with these hidden transformations, not just the surface headlines, but the deep, urgent story unfolding under the waves, make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell, and stay with us. Because the ocean is changing faster than anyone imagined, and the next chapter could be even more dramatic than this one.